what's good? Wagwan, what's good? Wagwan. Yo, tell me why you looking at me and my dog. Tell me why you looking at me and my dog. And approach man like, what's good? Wagwan, what's good?
This is Tootbox Media. I'm Ciaran Calam and this is Gwarn. Today's episode is about the Democratic Republic of Congo, in which there's an epidemic of child witchcraft allegations. This is leading innocent children to be kicked out of their homes, cast out onto the street, abused, tortured, and often even killed. Watch this video for more information, and if you like it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment.
There are about 50,000 homeless children scavenging on the filthy streets of the Democratic Republic of Congo, most of them in Kinshasa. Being accused of witchcraft, and hence crimes such as drinking the blood and eating the flesh of family members, they're abused, killed, and often thrown out onto the streets. A life of prostitution, begging, and crime is commonplace for these children. Why children are seen as witches? Unlike Western society, where children are seen as innocent victims, in the DRC they're believed to be just as responsible for their actions as any adult. What's more, their unstructured natures often represent threats to social order and to the unquestioned power of parents. Now, as it happens, there are three main stereotypes of children in Congolese culture, all of which are negative, and they are Bafitioti-Fioti, teenage dancers or sex symbols, Kadogo, child soldiers, and Shege, homeless street children. Also, in Congolese culture, everything bad that happens to a family needs an explanation. They simply don't believe in chance, so whether there's an unexpected pregnancy, unemployment, death, or even bad school grades, there has to be a reason. If no reason can be found, then witchcraft is chosen as the culprit. Witch children supposedly can travel into the second world, where the poor are powerful and the weak are strong. They take everything they need from our world into the second and deliberately sabotage the lives of those close to them by eating them, killing them, or deliberately bringing bad fortune. If a child is born with a disability, the mother is sometimes blamed for either improper behaviour, adultery, eating bewitched food, or simply being a witch herself. So often these children are hidden away at home. Disabled children represent bad luck to the family, and mental disabilities represent a curse. Children without mental disabilities who are accused of witchcraft usually have personalities that their parents can't understand and are seen as threats to social order. Boys are a woman's honour, so if a woman has 4 girls then a disabled boy, it's assumed that someone is stopping her from having one. And that someone usually will tend to be one of her daughters. Anyway, that said, there's a number of traits that people look for to tell whether or not a child in their family is a witch, and they include, in no particular order, being ugly, being sick, having a deformity, being creative, being aggressive, being too smart, being too dumb, being shy, spending too much time alone, stealing, suffering from insomnia, having sex, wetting the bed, sleepwalking, not listening when spoken to, and being too brave. Exorcisms. Provided a child's parents aren't prepared to throw them out onto the streets, then they'll need to pay for an exorcism which will be performed at a revivalist church. This entails said parents paying up to $60 or 4 months' wages for the child to stay at the church to be purified before their exorcism. Conditions at these churches are often below reproach, with kids living outside in dangerous areas with no sanitation, while sometimes being chained up. What's also very common is for these children to be deliberately starved of food and water in the week leading up to their exorcisms and physically beaten when they beg for food. When the exorcisms, or deliverances as they're called, happen, they do so in the dead of night with real song, dance, pomp and ceremony. There, the children can expect to be beaten, have their genitals grabbed, be poked and prodded violently, be smeared with olive oil, cut with razor blades, anally flushed, and even forced to consume oils to make them throw up the evil spirits from within them. Many kids are unable to talk about their deliverance experiences for months or even years afterwards, if ever. And worse still, some develop a case of Stockholm Syndrome and end up identifying and agreeing with their abusers. corrupt revivalist churches. What you need to know about the revivalist churches that perform exorcisms is that most operate for a profit and are run by fraudulent criminals. These are people who live comfortably and stay in overseas hotels while their fellow countrymen starve. Also, it's not uncommon for pastors to hold hostage the children whose parents can't afford to pay for their exorcisms. What's more, they've also been known to randomly accuse children of witchcraft with little to no evidence. Supposedly, these pastors are imbued with the Holy Spirit and use said spirit to cure children of witchcraft, but the barrier to entry is so low that almost anyone can become a pastor if they want to. You can become a pastor by receiving a vision from Jesus Christ himself, randomly proclaiming yourself a pastor and hence setting up your own church to run as a business, being the offspring of a now dead pastor, or studying theology. Case studies. Bridget's father was a trader who left her mother and her brothers to live with her uncle while he worked overseas. When her uncle's wife became ill, he accused Bridget of witchcraft and wanted to throw her out onto the streets. Her mother tried to defend her but was told that she'd be thrown out too if she didn't keep quiet. She then asked the grandmother to look after Bridget, but she refused, saying that she didn't want a witch in her house. Bridget now lives in the market and sees her mother in secret as her uncle has forbidden them from meeting. Miners. In September 2004, miners encouraged the people to hunt down and kill street children, and at least 16 kids, some as young as 10 years old, were murdered in circumstances which involved being burned alive, stoned, knifed, or having their throats cut. Dozens more were wounded. According to the charity Save the Children, many of these murdered children had been rejected by their families for the crime of witchcraft. So why is all of this happening? The collapse of the economy in the 1990s brought about mass army lootings in 2 wars and the breakdown of the extended family. This is a society where most people live on less than 50 cents a day and where extreme poverty has helped to twist and warp the existing negative social attitudes towards children into a horrific national epidemic. This is also a culture in which every negative thing that happens to a family is perceived as having a deep and often metaphysical meaning, one in which the prevailing landscape of fear and rigid conformity to social norms can and often does see the inherently liberated nature of children as being subversive and dangerous. This is a society in which many people believe in the existence of a second world which exists parallel to this one, a dark realm of witchcraft in which the poor and weak are rich and powerful, a world from which witches enter our dimension to eat and steal blood from good people. This is a world in which, sadly, the majority of those witches are children. They eat human flesh. They drink human blood. It is the work of the devil. Witchcraft kills the love within the child. It fills them with hate. It makes them eat their father and fight with their brother. Children can become infected with sorcery. Despite the horrific nature of everything we've heard today, there are people out there who are working to help these children, and the United Nations global goals hope to eliminate the epidemic of child witchcraft allegations within 15 years. If you would like to get involved in the effort to support these children, then please contact Save the Children on the address that's on screen and also in the YouTube description. Goodbye.